Oof, face greasy. And I'm live. So cool. What's up, everybody? Waiting for the timer. 6 seconds. Okay, cool. Well, at some point I'll get these intros a little bit better here. But how are you guys? Welcome to the channel, Can't Cross Antarctica, where I'm actually trying to do something instead of just talk about some shit. There you go. How's that for an intro? Couple people here. Cool. What's up, guys? Or except you, one person, because it's two individual people probably watching. You know what I mean? Anyway, yeah, welcome to the channel. I just wanted to talk about the Bible a little bit. Bible. I have a large Bible, as you can see. It's heavy, so I can be like, no, this is what's up, and have it be loud. But yeah, no, I just got done watching that presidential debacle, and you know, I don't know why I was watching it. I guess just this was what you do when you're single. I guess is you're like, what should I do now? You know, but maybe I should get a dog or something. But yeah, no, that debate was pretty garbage. I mean, it's like the most nonsense. Like, I don't know if there was ever a time for people to realize that it's a sham. You know, maybe that debate will help show some people how garbage it really all is. You know, but here's a funny thing. To the one person watching, dude, let me tell you, bro or chick, how terrible. It was my birthday a couple days ago. All right, and I ended up like, I don't drink very often, but I drank a good few nights ago because it was my birthday, and so I mean, not that that's a big deal, but like whatever. This is just what happened. All right, I drank too much. I'm embarrassed about it. Full stop. That said, I blacked out. That's even worse. I haven't done that since I was like in college. But I ended up hearing secondhand what happened. And essentially, long story short, and maybe you guys will enjoy this. I don't condone it. I wish I hadn't done it. Okay, I really honestly, of course, like for sure. You know, I like cause issues with like people I care about. You know what I mean? But that said, I remember right before I blacked out, and then I was told the couple of hours of what I did when my memory goes blank for a couple of hours, just this like 2 nights ago. So I went out. I'm in Sacramento, and you know, just planning on hanging out, not drinking much. Obviously, I did. I ended up going off on some bars about. Okay, so like, all right, I'm in a bar and I have, you know, I got this. This is I don't wear a mask. You know, I got a bandana. All right, it's a pretty cool bandana. Just on a side note, Desolation Wilderness. See, it's Tahoe. That's where I'm from. So it's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, I hate wearing it, obviously. And I've only worn it like twice. Other than that, I just haven't worn anything or like cover my face like that or whatever when I go in places occasionally. Like they smell. So anyway, I get up to get a drink. I'm in a bar. It's outside. Nobody's wearing a mask. But you have to, in order to walk to your seat, you have to wear a mask. And then you can take off your mask. But you have to stay seated. You can't move. And I didn't realize the rules, I guess. You know, I don't go out. So I ended up going out. I ended up going up to the bar, which was a small patio. I went to the bar to get a drink there. You have to have a mask to like order a drink. And I was like, oh, my bad. It was like my mistake, man. Like I wasn't trying to cause any problems. I like really wasn't. But so I go like this. I was like, all right, man. I was like, can I get a you know, whiskey or whatever? And he's like, no, man. He's like, no, you have to put it over your face, like your friend or whatever, like a normal bandana, right? Where it's like that, right? And I'm like. What you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, this is the same exact thing. Like, you want me to tie? It has to be tied. Is that part of the rules? Is that how it works? Like, and obviously I've had it, you know, up to here with everything, and I just ended up going off on him, and and then that's the last I remember. Apparently, I went to a couple other bars and was just like yelling it at the bar. I might have got kicked out. I was talking a lot of crap to bars about not standing up and being like, fuck the mask and all this, which, like, that's some like nonsense, like they have to do what they have to do. Like, there's bars that have tried to be martyrs and they've gotten smoked for it, gotten closed down for it. So, I don't like, that's a dick thing to do. But I also apparently got in an argument with somebody who was like, I'm a physicist. And he started talking. Somehow, of course, like flat earth gets brought up. And I'm just like, apparently, I don't remember this, but I know, like, what I'm told is that, is that he was a physicist. He was a big dude, bigger than I am. I'm a big dude, but not like skinny too. I'm 6'4", but like, I'm also, I'm only 210 pounds or something like that. I'm not like 250 or something, but apparently I almost got in a fight with this guy. I was like, and he's like big, an actual big dude, and like almost beat me up, I guess. And I was like pushing him and shit, and I was like, I don't give a shit if you're like, basically this girl's like, you were just like going off on him about flat earth and stuff. So I was in a bar yelling about flat earth to some physicists, getting an argument, almost got in a fight over it. But yeah, anyway, that's pretty much the end of that. I feel like, I'm just like saying stuff. I'll get to some Bible stuff, but I just like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't have any real responsibilities besides my job, which, yeah, I own my own business. There's one other person who's like working. I have a startup. Like, obviously I have to be responsible to that, but I don't have a wife. I don't have kids. That's it, right? I don't have a family, like the wife and kids. I have a mom, family, but they're all taken care of, like, yeah, like more or less, like I help out with stuff, but like, I'm just not really responsible to anybody. And when that's the case, like, I end up just fucking going off sometimes, like, maybe I'll black out tonight and yell at people about masks and talk shit about flat earth and how people are hella dumb. Like, I don't know, man. That's why I need like a girlfriend or something. So like, my reputation will, I'll have to, it will go on to somebody else. If I do something bad, then I won't, live for somebody else. Then all of a sudden you mature, right? But anyway, now, kind of besides the point, but I'm just kind of saying shit, I guess. I was hoping, to change the topic here. I've been listening to this guy. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. His name's, like Jorgensen. It's the Jordan P. Peterson. I don't know, it says Jorgensen. I feel like that's somebody, but whatever. Jordan B. Peterson. He's a YouTuber. He's got like a bunch of like 3 million or something like subscribers. But I've been listening to him, and he talks about like, it's more like archetypal, the archetypes in the Bible, and like sort of like what it means to, very much more symbolic, right? He talks about the Bible as being symbolic, and it gets me thinking, like, there's all these archetypes in the Bible, and there's all these stories and lessons to be learned, and like, it's sort of like Christ is a figure where he, is the redemption quality is about like forgiveness and loving everybody. And as long as you believe in forgiveness and salvation through loving everybody and being able to forgive people and loving God, like, then you're good, right? Like, then you should be fine. And that's very like true, like, because we're all these flawed creatures. And if we just focus on love and knowing that we're flawed and believe in a savior, because we and our savior is somebody who forgives and stuff, then like, then that's our salvation. Because if you can forgive somebody else who does some evil shit to you, then also likewise you should be forgiven, right? So like, that's just one example, right, of like archetypes and how the Bible is like transcendent on this stuff. And that gets me thinking, like, a lot of people will just say these are stories of the past. Like, these are stories that are insights into who we are as people, as like people, and that's very true. I think that shouldn't be overlooked, but what it gets me thinking about is there's, just because they are archetypes and just because there are stories that have meaning towards us as individuals, doesn't mean that it didn't actually happen. Like, what I'm saying is, I think there could be some, like, I think that there's layers. and they're all true in each of these crazy layers. Like I'm talking about all these archetypes, well, I'm also talking about this being actually true. Well, also, if you're a flat earther, you've probably looked up like how astrology / astronomy has to do with the Bible, right? And the biblical stories and the biblical narrative, and like how like, oh, Moses is the water bearer, right? You know how Jesus goes into the next room, he's holding water, right? How it talks about that, and that's supposed to be the dawning of the age of Aquarius, right? And that's like, if you watch some videos on that, it's very convincing. You're like, oh man, like this is all just based on the stars. Like that's crazy. You're like, but just because the stars tell the story doesn't mean it didn't actually happen. Just because there are archetypes in here that have to do with us as individuals and how we've grown and who we are and how we've sort of learned to become who we are and how can we be better people. Like just because all that is true doesn't mean it didn't also actually happen. Like I feel like there's this big web. Do you know what I mean? Where like it all represents each other. You know, like yes, it's in the stars. Yes, it's in us as archetypes, and yes, it actually played out in the world. You know, world being part of the word, right? Word, world. Like this world was spoken to existence by a word. Like so, I don't know. Just those three layers. I kind of wanted to point out. You know, the link between those because. You know, you can see here, people who are like atheists would be like, oh yeah, it's just astrology, right? Or astronomy, whatever. Astrology, I feel like it's more accurate to say. It's more, it's just astrology. They just took astrology, put it in a book and expounded on it. And other people will be like, but like the same atheists should look at the Bible and be like, oh, it's just archetypes and lessons that have been learned throughout history. That's all it is. And you're like, wait, well, if they're both true, like they can't both be true and have it just be like whatever. Like that would be like that's profound to say that the stars are telling the same story that's happened. That's like the challenges that we face as individuals. You know, like that's not something like that's a creation result, right? That's a result of somebody really creating something. That can't be coincidence, you know? So I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I've read through this freaking thing, man. Like that's how close I am now. That's the Old Testament's over here. Let's see, and like I've ripped through this thing. I'm getting real close. I'm like 100 pages off here, 150 pages from being done. I mean, I've read the New Testament. I'm in the New Testament now. I've read the New Testament a number of times, but what I wanted to read it like cover to cover, you know, once and just to do it, I guess. And I'm getting pretty close to it, but yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, and there's more to be said about the Bible, right? I don't know. I mean, I'd kind of be, oh, dude, okay, this is something. All right, this is something. So this, like, I find this really interesting. I'm sure I'm not the first person to point it out, but it's definitely something I feel like I figured out, you know, myself, and pretty sure I did. And, but yeah, like I said, not to say I'm the first one to come up with it. Okay, Pastor Fisher here. I forgot to mention, because at the start of my stream, I tried to mention this. I will do it before I forget. This channel is called Can't Cross Antarctica. This is Matrix Matt, all right? And if I ever hit 100,000 subscribers, if I do, then I will be going to cross Antarctica or attempt. Go as far south as I can until I go straight across. That's it. So that will happen if I hit 100,000. And I'll be scared as shit if I do hit it, but I will do it. You know what I mean? Anyway, whatever. Yeah. Let me point this out before I start derailing here. So like, all right, in the first 4 books of the Bible, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, right? So when Jesus gets crucified, right? And he says, like, I'll quote it just so I'm quoting it, but basically he says, you know, God, why you've forsaken me, right? And everyone's like, oh yeah, but Christ denied God when he was on there. Even he wasn't perfect or whatever. And there's what he actually says is I'm looking at it right here. This is the whatever the version, dude. Like, who cares? It says, my God, why have you forsaken me? So he's like, that's his flaw, right? And so like that's a sin. Like that's a sin, right? To say why, like, God hasn't forsaken him. Like, how is God gonna forsake him? He's not gonna like he, obviously not, like, right? Like he's God is in it. Like we all know this, but he was in such, I don't know why he says it, but I know that because he says it, that's a sin, which means he dies. Okay, like bear with me here, right? But like you sin, you die, right? If you're in sin, then you die. So he sins and he's dead, right? Now there are 4 books in the Bible here, okay, in this New Testament: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So okay, that was the first one. So and what happens first? God, why have you forsaken me? Dead. Skip to the next chapter. So we got Mark here. Let me skip to the end. Okay, this is easy to find because it's just at the end of the chapter. So in Mark, he says, no, I should have just shown you the first one too, but whatever. So here's Mark, right? Mark, he says, if that's hella backwards, you can't even read that, huh? Or maybe it's just me that can't read that, but he says, my God, why have you forsaken me? Okay, so we got another one. Says the same thing. Oh man, right? So he's dead again, right? Really in the underworld now, right? But I believe in the first one, in Matthew, no, he still does that too. Okay, so all right, that's it. Next chapter. Matthew, Mark, Luke. Now we got Luke. He 2 times now. God, why have you forsaken me? Which is why most people quote that, right? Like, oh yeah, he denied God, right? He wasn't perfect, right? Okay, so no, this is cool. I really think this is interesting. This is the most interesting thing that I have probably found, like, myself. But all right, so Matthew, Mark, Luke. Let me skip to the end of the chapter. All right. Crucifixion. All right, here we go. Ready? Sorry. Crucifixion, yeah. Okay, so this time he has like a full quote, whatever. Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Oh, no. All right, that's right before. This is all right. These are the last words leading up. He said that, and he said, I tell you the truth, today you will be with me in paradise. Okay, this is the part that was interesting. All right, he says, this is all right. So this is the third one, right? God, why have you forsaken me? God, why have you forsaken me? The second one, third one, in Luke. This is chronological. All right, chronological. The third one is, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. Okay, right? So that's a lot better, right? Instead of like, why have you forsaken me? The third one, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. So he's not denying anything at that point, right? He's just like, okay, like whatever happens is up to you. Like you have my spirit, like, do whatever you can, right? Like, it's much better, right? It's much more like he's not denying anything. He's just like, all right, like whatever you think, So that's the third one. And the fourth one, I pretty much know what it says, but I'll quote it. Is end of John, crucifixion, arrested. There's a ton of crazy stuff in here, but sentenced to be crucified. Come on. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is John, right? Okay, so he's whatever. These are his last words as he's dying on the cross. It's right there on the left over there. You can see it. He just says, I don't know if you see that. It says, it is finished. With that, he bowed his head and gave up his spirit, right? So it's like, okay, right? God, why have you forsaken me? God, why have you forsaken me? Into your hands I commit my spirit. It is finished. 1, 2, 3, 4, dude. This is the last thing he says. It's the last thing he says. So, like, that's it, right? He died twice to make sure of it, I guess. He was dead. God went down into hell because he sinned and everything, right? And God went down and grabbed him. And then the third chapter, he says, into your hands I commit my spirit. God grabs him, takes him back up. And the fourth time, he's like, that's it. It's finished. Like, I don't know. Take from that what you think, But like, I find that very interesting that that's in chronological order. Dead, not so dead. It's done, right? Dead. God has you. It's finished. Like, I just really don't think that that's a coincidence that happens in that order. So I think that's pretty interesting. That's pretty much it with the Bible. That was the main thing I kind of wanted to point out. I'm not sure if you've ever heard that before or not, so it's worth pointing out, I think. But I don't know if I just kind of want to talk about whatever I sort of feel like, and I mean, all on topic, right? But I don't mean to talk about like being on Jaren's stream like it's a major, like whatever. He's cool that he's been doing. I don't know how much you guys like follow him, but he's cool. I think Globebusters are cool. I think most people in the flat Earth stuff are legit and truth-seeking good people, including them. And so like I go onto went on to their live stream the other day. They had just like a whoever wants to come in type of thing. They were nice enough to let me come on and have my little like 2 seconds of actually having like a good size audience or whatever. And it was pretty fun. They were talking about like the nature of reality and like how, like, where are we and like, where are we actually? I feel like that's generally what they're talking about. And I was saying like, I said this last live stream, I guess, but I did bring it up to him where I was talking about how like I don't appreciate how this is a truth first community and flat Earth second, as far as I'm concerned. Because if I went out and I crossed Antarctica and I popped out on the other side and I kept going, like fly over south, and then that shit, I fly over the South Pole, I'm in an airplane, compass turns north, all of a sudden I keep flying, an hour or two later, I'm at the shore on the other side of the continent, you know what I mean? Like I keep flying, then that's it. I'm like, all right, that's the truth is the Earth is a globe then. Like, or else what? What am I going through a magic doorway that's nah. You know what I mean? Nah. I don't think that's gonna happen, which is why I'm trying to do it. So I think I think that's impossible. That's my belief, right? That's our belief, is that's impossible, but stick with the truth. Right? Well, let's all stick with the truth here. And what I'm getting at is when the sun, like this issue of the sun, where like the sun, when we look at it set, like, please, whoever's watching this, if you've seen that video where the sun's this big and it goes in the distance and it's this small and oh my God, it's only a pinprick. And then, yeah, sure, I guess it kind of dips. It's bullshit, man. That is not true. Like, please go outside and watch a sunset over a flat area like the ocean or just a flat piece of land or whatever, and you'll see that sun go boop, gone, up to down. It goes up to down. The shit does not go backwards. It is going up to down. I don't care what kind of mind tricks you're talking about. It's garbage. Like flat Earth, if we feel like we're flat and stationary, we're not moving, well, guess what? It also looks like the sun is dropping straight down. So let's just stick with that, And I was just talking to him about it, and I just think that it's important he was saying that it like pretty much voids all of flat Earth if the sun's going down, because that's not possible on a flat Earth. And it's like, well, the thing about that is we've never actually been there. We've never touched it. We can't see it. We can't like actually physically touch it and observe it and be like, this is where it is. So like, I wouldn't worry about it. Like the truth defends itself. The truth defends itself. Just because the AE map is not true, which it's not, and everybody's trying to say that it is and flat earth it's not. It's not legit. It's not true. Then let's just say that. Like that's the best part about just telling the truth, is just being like, whatever. Yeah, the sun goes down, and yes, the earth is flat. And how is that possible, you ask me? I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, it could be like maybe this or that, but I mean, I don't know that. Like, that's our out in all this, is like, we don't know. Like, it's very easily, we could figure it out if we had the means, but we don't. So we're just sitting here stuck with the truth of, yeah, that sure is a mystery. We live in a life of an actual mystery. And I'm happy to sit here and guess on stuff, and come up with fun theories, pontificate. But the truth is, I don't know, man. Do you know? No, like, so here we are, stuck with trying to figure it out. I've spent my whole freaking life trying to figure shit out. I went to school for political science, all right, in college. Did well in that discipline. But like, I went for the reason of trying to figure out what the hell is happening. That's what I try to do my whole life. And like, I still don't know, man. I know the Earth's flat and I know the sun goes down. So do you think I have any idea where I even live? Like, nah, man, not really. I mean, I know this, like, the Earth's flat. We're probably under a dome, most likely, right? Heaven's above. Like, I'm a Christian. Hey, I'm a Christian. Like, I believe what it says and everything. Like, but still don't really know physically where I am. Like, but I am starting to feel like a decent grip on what's going on politically, which is to say, like, deceivers are running the world. Surprise, surprise. There's not really shit we can do about it. Just be a good person yourself, because God is real. That's something. I don't know if I've mentioned that. There's something that's weird to me. All right. Why is Israel is real? Like, what is that? That feels like it's not a coincidence. Like, maybe it is, but that definitely doesn't seem like it. Like, what is real? What is real? Why is it Israel? And they're named Israel, but like, I don't know if I can even, whatever. I haven't gotten any strikes yet. I don't think my 200 subscribers are going to really burn me out here and get me banned from YouTube quite yet. The Jewish people, who I'm cool with, like, friends that are Jewish, like, there's nobody. How many people are racist out there? I feel like there's like nobody. Like, there's virtually nobody. Trying to make it sound like there's a lot, like in that debate. Oh, these white supremacists and fucking black people that hate white people that's like such a minority, man. Like, that's such a minority. But there are Jewish people that the leaders of the Jewish people seem to have have the strangle grip on the United States in a lot of ways, right? Finance, politics, and media, right? The big three, they really have a hold on, and they're all in Hollywood. And they're deceiving. That's kind of what I was getting to, is they're deceptive, but they're called Israelites. But what is real? It's sure not what they're putting out there. So why are they called Israel? What is that? I just find that to be pretty interesting, right? Like, what? I just feel, I don't know. That just doesn't seem like a coincidence. Israel. What is real? Well, it's not what Israel's putting out there. Like, I don't know. It's pretty odd. It's pretty odd if you ask me. Yeah. Dude, here's something else that I thought is really interesting. I thought of the other day. It was like, all right. And this is something I was talking about Jaron with, was that, or Glowbusters, was that, like, he was like, well, how's it possible the sun goes down and like the Earth's flat? I'm like, I don't know. It's just the case. Okay. Like, right. It's all truth. Right. But, he was like, well, what reality are we actually in that? And I'm like, well, I'm happy to like sit here and just guess at stuff. And like, one of the things is like, I'll get to my point here, but like it's basically they're like, I mean, the heavens are the heavens, right? And they're spiritual, which is why we perceive them with our spirits. They're not physical entities by chance, possibly. I'm guessing here, but which is why we all perceive them to be going down. We perceive the sun to be going down. We perceive this stuff, but like there's no, they're not physically there like we experience in the earthly world. Okay, and the reason I use the word world is because we're in a world, like I was saying, a world spoken to an existence by the word, right? By the word, and which is where that obviously where that comes from, right? Word, world. Another WOR word is worship. Worship. Like, what is that? I love etymology, man. I mean, what a fascinating subject. And it's everywhere, you know, but worship. Like, worship. Worship. So we got word, which is the world, which is the word, which is the, I believe, being Christian, the Bible is the word, and the world is made from the word. Okay. And I worship it, right? And to worship is like friendship or relationship, right? The word ship is that you're on the same boat, right? That you believe the same thing. So worship just means that you believe in the word making the world. So that's pretty interesting. Where like that's got to be where that comes from. Like, what is worship then, right? To worship just is to read. Must mean like it's got to mean just to read the word and believe that that's what made the world, and just believe it, right? Just to like look at it and read it and believe it means you're on the ship, right? You're on the boat, right? You're like, yeah, I'm on the boat. Like I believe it, right? Then you're worshiping. I mean, right? Worship. So, yeah. Anyway, that's all. That's all I got for that. I did find that very interesting. I thought the other day, I was like, man, worship. Like, what other words? You know, start with WOR. I'm trying to come up with something more, like, because it's all got. It's got all has to be the same thing. Like words that begin with WOR. I mean, work, right? Work is. I mean, I just thought of work, but like that is kind of interesting, right? Work. I don't know where that leads, but there's got it. Like, man, what an interesting. What prefix? See, smart prefix. What an interesting prefix. WOR. I mean, I thought about it vaguely. I'm sure we all were like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, world, word. Like, okay, yeah, that's really interesting. But like, how deep does that rabbit hole go? You know, because it could be pretty deep. Like worship, like man, you know, work. Pretty much, like, there's got to be some cool patterns there. But I'm looking at some worrisome. I don't know about all that. 13-letter words now. Let's start with the work, word. Yeah, I was thinking war, but I don't know what the hell that means. WORE. I'll click on it since I just said it. To carry or have on the body or about the person as a cover. Oh, that's wear. War. Oh yeah, I wore something. Jesus. Okay. Yeah, about that. I wore that. It's to like have it on you. Related. You can't say it's not related. Wart. I guess that's attached to you as well, right? Worm. Worn. War, worn. Okay. It's the same word. Worms, warts, worry again, worry, worry, huh. Worst, worth, interesting. What's that worth? That is a good one. That is a good one. What's it worth? The word in the world's worth a lot. I won't go on for too long here, but worsen, like worse, whatever, worthy, the workup. Worries, worsens, word, worldly. Where, dude, speaking of worldly, where do these, what are they called? Jehovah's Witnesses get off? Like, they'll ban people from their whole life, right? They do it. I know there's maybe some others do it, maybe Mormons or something, right? But they like, I mean, Jehovah's Witnesses are like known for that. They'll like boot people out. They'll like boot people out their whole life because they're worldly. That's what they call them. They have a whole syntax that I kind of got to peek into because I know somebody who used to be a Jehovah's Witness. But worldly, like if you say you're worldly, then you're not. And there's something to be said about that, like for sure, right? And somebody's worldly, like they just believe in the narrative that's out there right now. It's just a massive lie, as we're all aware of, and nobody's really awake to all of it because, like, how are we supposed to know, right? But anyway, they like, where do they get off like booting people out and be like, don't ever talk to that person again, don't associate with them? Didn't Jesus literally associate with like tax collectors and like whatever prostitutes, right? Aren't they Christian? Like, love everybody, and Jesus associated with hookers and stuff. Like, where do you get off, man? Like, how do you even do that? It's absurd. One time I had a buddy who I still have a buddy. He lives in South Lake, and he had a girlfriend at one point, and I met her, and she was Jehovah's Witness, or like semi Jehovah's Witnesses. It's a scary place for them because they can't like try to live a normal life, but then they have to really stay attached unless they want to lose their entire family and friends. So they really have to walk this really scary line. And but I knew I was going to meet her, and I talked to this other person. It's actually my dad's wife. She was the one who used to be a Jehovah's Witness, and she told me all the I was like, tell me some good things, tell me some good ones that I can like come at her with a little bit to make things kind of funny. Like, what are some like terms that they use that I can like say, and I totally like went over. I was like, what's up? And I was like, oh, like, are you like religious at all? Like pretending like I didn't know. She's like, oh, Jehovah's Witness. I was like, oh, cool. You're like of the way. Like, there's something they say like that. It's like of the way. There's something like that. But and I like said a couple other terms and things like, oh, have you gone on your mission or like whatever it is? And she was like, she got a little freaked out. She was like, oh, but I think that she might have thought that was like a plant or something, like sent from the Jehovah's Witnesses to like snoop to see if she was like behaving well or something like that. It's like, geez, dude. But what a crazy religion. One thing that I would like to know about is like those Mormons, man. Like, what is that? Like I don't really like beyond like, I mean, I probably looked up at some point, but my base knowledge is pretty much South Park, I would say, when it comes to Mormonism. I mean, I know that they're Christian, but then they also think something about, what's his name, guy. I'm like trying to like hear the South Park song in my head, but whatever. There's a new guy who's a prophet, right? And he read stuff in a hat, and they tested him, and he had to rewrite it down because he couldn't spit it out again, something like that. But it's just an odd one, like, I don't know. I do feel like Christians are being they get very segmented. They've been very segmented, like very just like, I mean, just right there, right? Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, like those guys are way different, but they're both Christians, right? Like, and then there's like obviously all these other ones, right? Catholic, Presbyterian, Christian, or I mean like Baptist, evangelical, Orthodox, like there's all this stuff, man. And you're like, why isn't it all just one? Why isn't it all just one group? We're all just like whatever. Like I go to before COVID, I went to a few church services. Like to go to some more. I think, I'm not gonna say or qualify myself for like whatever. Like I spend time reading the Bible, like, but I used to go to some. I would just go to whatever I felt like that day. There was like a few of them that were within walking distance, as it turns out, from where I live. And I'm in like the Midtown area of Sacramento, so I like walk a bunch of places. And there's like 4 churches within walking distance. So I just go to different ones, like one day go to one day go to the other one. Like, it's like, I'm not going to judge you guys, for like worshiping, right? Worshiping however you want, I don't care. So yeah, it'd be good to just kind of get everybody sort of together on it. And, people should just rotate or something, like between one church to the next. I don't know. Another layer of like, when I talk about like I kind of forgot what I was going to say. There's another layer. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Meditating. That guy, I'll look up his name, but Bill Donahue. There you go. The guy Bill Donahue, right? He's all like, oh yeah, if you meditate, then the serpent goes up your spine, right, and your pineal gland, and by meditating, your right hemisphere to your left hemisphere, right? There's like this like cross integrate, like Moses split the river in half or whatever, went across, and he talks about it all like it's meditation and it's your brain's hemispheres, and that's like what releases Jesus, like Jesus is in you and like whatever like that, which is really it makes a good case. It really does. But that's just another layer, right? Like the story of the Bible is written in the stars. The story of the Bible is written archetypal within us. The story of the Bible is, I think, written in real life as well. It's also written in the Bible. It's also, if you meditate, you'll find the same story there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like all these different ways that the same exact story is totally applicable, like in the same order. Like, it's just like layers of the same reality, and like ultimately probably the most, like solid way that's actually happening in reality, right? In the flesh, right? Jesus came in the flesh, like the Word made flesh, right? There's the Word, there's made flesh, there's fucking in the stars, there is in the in your meditation, like within your body, right? Within you, the story plays out, like not only within your own spirit and being and the lessons to be learned, but also if you meditate, like there's like the stuff that opens up. So it's just another layer. That guy Bill Donahue, I don't know what's going on there, man. Like he if you look at his YouTube channel, he has like all these videos, but like all of them are clearly from the same like 1 year or something. Like there's a one time period where it's like, I'm just gonna make all these videos. I sent him a message. I was like, hey man, I used to watch some of this stuff. I was like, wow, this is really interesting, And I was like, dude, why don't you are you alive? I sent him a message. I was like, dude, are you even alive anymore? Because all of these videos are old. I was like, and they're all clearly from the same year. Can you like do something? You make one new video. Like, because you go to his website, and his website's like garbage. And he actually wrote me back and he was like, oh, I've been real busy with the website. And so I really haven't had time. And I'm like, I looked at his website. I'm like, dude, like, this is not a good website. Like, no offense, but you're not spending all of your time on your website. You have time to make a 1 hour, go live for a half hour at some point in time. Like, I don't think that guy's alive, man. Bill Donahue? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know what's going on there. Or like somebody killed him and they took all his videos and then they're acting like he's him or something. Like maybe, but I don't think that guy's alive. You guys look at his videos. Go look at Bill Donahue. Go look at his videos, man. You'll be like, wait, they're all from the same like basement or somewhere. I don't know where he is, but it's all from the same place. And he's acting like he's still alive. I think he still posts videos, but I don't know about that. Another guy, let's talk a little flat earth community here, a little gossip, shall we, is like Jake, right? Jake the asshole, right? And I think he changed his channel. He changed his channel name to Jake Gibson, I think. But, dude's got to mature, man. Like, talk about pointing the finger at yourself. But he does too, man. Like, that guy needs to mature, man. Like, Jesus, dude. But I still like him. He probably doesn't like me, but I think he's a good guy. But I was talking to him the other day about, like, he did that egg thing where he like ate a bunch of raw eggs all at once. And it was funny to watch and it was all good, like whatever. But I have a family history of cholesterol, like being an issue. Like my dad takes medication and my brother had a stroke and like didn't recover. And it's a really sad story. I'll tell you sometime, but like pretty tragic. It was just a couple of years ago. He's still alive, but not, functioning as well as he was before, put it that way. Anyway, family history of cholesterol. So I actually have to avoid eating a lot of eggs or like egg yolks because they have a bunch of cholesterol in them. And I was like, he was like, he wrote a little comment below his video. You can go look at it. He was all like, he pinned it to the top. He's like, oh, this many calories, this many minutes, this many eggs, like this much time or whatever. And then I put something, it was like, this much protein was ingested or whatever. And I was like, I wrote something like, also like 1,500 milligrams of cholesterol, like, just kind of like joking around, like whatever, if you do it once, like who cares, right? It's like not going to be a big deal, right? But like if you consistently every day, like I couldn't do that. I can't eat 5 eggs every day or something. I would like my cholesterol would go through the roof. I'd be fucked. I didn't realize this, but apparently he's a cholesterol skeptic. Like, okay, like shit, man. Like, how was I supposed to know that you didn't believe in cholesterol, right? Like, and so he like got pissed and he like wrote me back in all caps, saying a bunch of crap, like you're spewing lies and spreading falsehoods and all this shit. And I was like, come on, man. I was like, I'm like watching your videos, like I'm like how was I supposed to know you thought that cholesterol was a lie, let alone like be sensitive to it. Like, man, it's like, dude, we're all, if flat earth community like isn't on the same side, like what, we don't stand a chance, man. Like, I get we're all skeptics and like whatever. And, anyway, that was pretty goofy. But actually was the reason, I swear I was the reason that he actually, if you look at his video that went viral, the one that was like, he went and did the cough in my face thing a few months ago, 5 months ago or so. Yeah. I actually told, like, he did that at a protest a few blocks from me here in Sacramento at the Capitol. And like, I told him about it. I like sent him a link and shit on a previous video that I watched. I was like, yo, man, you should come to the protest, like about the shutting down California stuff. I was like, you should come out. And then he ended up coming out, like, because I told him, like, not to say from the reason he came, but like, yes, I am. Like, I told him about it and he fucking came out. Like, we have an actual connection. Like, I follow his videos. Like, he's an all right dude, man. Like, I like him just fine, man. And like, but like, and he's, started going off on people, like writing all caps like that. It's like, dude, chill out, man. Like, we're all on the same side here, man. But I told him about that. And he came out, and then I'm pretty sure Jaron saw that Jake came out, and then he ended up coming out like a couple weeks later, and that's when I met Jaron at the protest. But which you can look at my previous videos and stuff, and I think I have some stuff about that. But like, even all this stuff, like it's all like to where I'm coming from is more Christian. I'll come at it from two angles. Mainly it's one angle, which is that I'm just Christian. Like I just believe that Christ is going to come back and fucking settle things. You know what I mean? And like other than that, we're all responsible for ourselves here. Like be a good person, make good decisions. You make good decisions out there, all right? Stop fucking up. Maybe me too, right? That's pretty much it. It's like it's not in our control. Like ourselves are in our control, like, as far as how we act and how we behave. Ultimately, we're going to be totally forgiven if we just believe in Christ. That it's like if you're on that warship, all right, if you're on that ship, that warship, then you'll be all right. If you believe in that, then you're written in the book, and you're gonna be all right, and you're forgiven. But as far as the world, like the world was spoken into existence by the Word, and I just believe in that. I think Jesus is gonna come back and settle stuff. Like, who cares? Even if I go and prove the Earth is flat, right? Can't cross Antarctica. Go out and I'm like, check out the dome. We all did it. Not just me, but like if we all go, right? We managed to pull it off. Full proof. Bottom line, Earth is flat. Bang, we did it. Proof, God exists, definitely. We're in a dome. Can't deny it. Even then, the evil people will still, like, maybe that's when the Antichrist will pop up, right? And be like, I told you, like, I'm the one that actually told you, right? Like, or something. Maybe he goes there first, right? Right when we're just about to go, right? He's like, oh, no, look, I'm actually Jesus, or like, whatever, right? Yeah. So like, I just don't think there's any stopping it. Like, it's just going to play out. It's already written down. Like, the future is already in the book. And so if you believe the Bible, like, and you're on that warship, then it's going that way anyway. It's like, whatever, like, whatever, just day to day be good. It's all we can do is just grind it out as people, sort of wait it out and try to make good decisions in our life, and use this, figure out all the other crazy crap that comes with just being alive, man. It's wild. I'm blown away, dude. Every day, man. I'm just like, I cannot believe, like, just that I'm alive. Like, I mean, it's nuts, man. Come on, I'm not trying to like be that guy who's just like, whoa, man, whoa, we're alive. But like, dude, we're alive. It's crazy, dude. We're existing. Like, you and I are existing. Like, that's the craziest thing that is possible. Like, that's amazing. Dude, drop dead amazing. Cannot believe it, dude. Like, the amount of different influences and like shit that's going on just in any given moment is a zillion fucking things. And at the same time, we can sit here and be like, what's going on? Like, not much, right? Not much, like, whatever. Just that we can even do that, man. Like, it's wild, dude. People vastly underestimate, I think, on a day-to-day basis, the absolutely like amazing just facts of life. Like, it's really wild, dude. It really is. It really is. And so, like, I don't know, man. That's how I exist anyways. Like, yeah, the future might be good. It might be bad. I like to think it'll be good. Try to work towards it being good. Try to sacrifice for future good situations, right? But I'm just grateful to be alive and amazed, more so just amazed at it. I try to be grateful for every day and moments and such, but more so, I'm flabbergasted by existence in any given moment. But that is one thing I was listening to, and to this guy. I've been going off on him a little bit, kind of rabbit holing this dude, Jordan Peterson. But he was talking about how, like, sacrifice, like how sacrifice is what, like, will improve the future. Like, we're the only animals who can actually sit here and we can do something sacrificial, knowing that in the future that something good will come of it, that'll be better. We'll have a better experience tomorrow, like in a year, because we sacrificed today, or this week, on an altar, right, to And it's like, man, that is quite the thing, man. Animals can't do that. Animals can't do that. Animals are not humans, man. Just so people are aware, like they can't think like we do. It's not even close. Like they obviously have spirits, and like we all love animals, but like, you know, wildly different than people. Wildly different than people. Um, but yeah, I mean that's part of it. That is really interesting. You know, like he makes a big deal of it. I can see it. You know, where it's like if you sacrifice, it's a good thing. You know, and I don't know how we figured that out, and maybe we haven't fully come to grips with it like on an individual level. But you know, if we sacrifice something like staying up late, then we'll get up earlier, and the next day will be worth more than that hour last night would have been. You know, we'll get like 2 hours tomorrow if we sacrifice 1 hour yesterday. You know what I mean? And like just knowing that, I mean, and we can also sacrifice ourselves for other people. I'm like, whoa, that's got to be a multiplier, right? If you're sacrificing for yourself and you're going to get something better than what you sacrificed, then imagine if you sacrifice for somebody else. Then that's really got to affect their lives a lot, right? Like in a really good way. And you know, Flip Flat. It's a cool name, man. How you doing? Um, but I am truth loving. You know, I love the truth. It's very cool. I'm pretty happy it exists. You know, but yeah, you know, when you talk about like sacrificing and stuff, like it's definitely, it is amazing. You know, like I was saying, like, you know, if you sacrifice for yourself for your future self, and you get something more than what you sacrificed, then when you sacrifice for somebody else, it's even got to be way more for them. And then you start to bring Jesus into it, right? And Jesus was God, or like the Son of God slash the Son of Man, like whatever that is. And he sacrificed himself for people. And so like that had to produce some really big ramifications. They were extremely positive for all of us, even though we didn't do shit. But because sacrifice is such a powerful thing, we all just won a bunch, even though we didn't do anything. And so like, and part of the effect is knowing that, you know, we should be sacrificing for other people, you know, because the net effect is going to be way better than if we're just working for ourselves, let alone sacrificing for ourselves. But if we sacrifice ourselves for other people, and everybody did that, then we'd all be just way better, like multipliers, right? We'd be just way better off, you know. And maybe that's one of the better lessons learned by all of it, you know. So that's a bunch of deep stuff, I guess. I like the Dodgers, as you can see. Not like a massive fan or anything. I just have shirts and blankets, and it's playoff season. And I do for my job. I have a startup, and it's sports based and stuff. So I like sports casually. I know they don't like. It's not like a deep thing probably, but yeah, I like them, and I'm trying to revolutionize sports, man. All right, I'm gonna revolutionize sports. All right, all of it's gonna be different. It's gonna be way different. I'm trying to take over all of sports. That's my goal. This is the kind of shit, right, that we are, right? It's like change it all. Like that's what I'm trying to do for sports. So we'll see. And see if it works. My website. Don't look at the website right now. I shouldn't even say what it is because it's right now. There's nothing really there. We'll be launching in like a few weeks. I'm gonna say like pretty much it's any day now. But and launching isn't really a thing. It's just like you just go active and it's just like see what happens. But we'll be active and just I mean I would have said a week ago. So like probably just like a couple weeks. I would expect. It's at 10athletes.com. 10athletes.com. If you feel like looking at it, there's nothing, like I said, there's not really anything there right now, but in a couple of weeks there will be, or however long it is. But anyway, oh, fuck. My bookmark just fell out. No, I know where I was actually. I was just gonna say, but I didn't even put that bookmark back. I was gonna say, I am thirsty. It's good. It's good. I actually have a distiller, dude. Check it out. Distiller. Water distiller. As recommended by D Murphy. Shout out to my boy D Murph. I don't really use it. I did for a while, but it's just, man, it runs for like 3 hours. I mean, it produces it, like a day's worth of water. But a day's worth of water is only a day's worth of water. It runs for like 3 hours and it gets hella hot. It's like hella hot, dude. Like it's blowing air, like hot air for like 3 hours, It's like, man, that's like running a teapot or something for 3 hours, like I just, yeah. And when I get a little more money, then I'm gonna start drinking some distilled water. That's another thing, right? Distilled water, right? It decalcifies your pineal gland, right? I was about that, man. I was about that life. Meditation, drinking distilled water, decalcification, not drinking the fluoride, right? I'm still kind of about it, right? But I have I do still have a water filter. Like I do have a normal water filter. It's hooked up over there. And actually where I live has decent water as well. As a matter of fact, I know in the Sacramento area, I'm in a good place for it. But yeah, D Murphy's another dude, man. Right? That guy's like, he's awesome. Like I like him again. Like all these people are cool. I'm just like talking crap, like whatever. He's like mostly what I'd have to say about him is positive. I'm just saying, like, there's like D Murphy, like he loves to talk, dude, and his ego is easily like messed with. Like all somebody has to say is like one thing, and he's just like he'll just like talk for like an hour. Like I don't know if you guys seen that debate when he did a debate. He's done like debates, and he'll just like talk and talk and talk, and if somebody like tries to get a word in edgewise, like, excuse me, like let me finish, and then and then like the other guy like tries to do his thing, and then D Murphy will like cut him off, and he'll be like, well, yeah, I'm like, I'll let you talk, and he's like, yeah, but no, you're making a different point. He's not a good debater, dude. Like the last thing he should be doing is debating somebody. It's like just monologue, bro. Like monologue, you're all right. Like we all like it, but not a master debater. But yeah, just throw this out there. I'm a Marty Leeds dude as well, right? Like I was about that, the numbers and stuff, like and man, like the stuff Marty Leeds came up with, dude, like the good stuff. Like I think that if Marty Leeds took the best of Marty Leeds, and instead of sitting there and making all this new content, if he just distilled all of his best content into like a 1 or 2 hour thing, video or book or whatever, like, dude, he came out and he knew what was the good stuff. Like his best stuff is really, really good. Unfortunately, like 95% of what he does is like just sort of whatever or like not good. Like he does a lot of shit talking and stuff that you're just like, cool, man. Like, I don't know. These days, he's not so much about that. These days, he has his farm and he's a lot happier, but he still does a lot of like crap talking. And it's pretty off-putting. It's like, dude, like just be positive, man. Live in your positive world. You know what I mean? Like, just don't worry about it. Like, but he does have some amazing stuff. And what I was going to say is I mean, I don't have to look it up. The first 3 words of the Bible. It would be pi, right? Pi is a big thing, right? 3.14. Like pi is a big number, right? It's found everywhere. It's like the signature of God is pi, and also phi to some extent, right? But pi 3.14, and the first 3 words of the Bible are what? In the beginning. That's 3 words and 14 letters. Ooh, 314. Whoa. It's crazy. Honestly, it's crazy. Like that is not a coincidence. I promise you that. In the beginning, 3 words, 14 letters. Not a coincidence. Cannot be a coincidence. Just like in the number line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 31415. This is the first 5 digits of pi. Not a coincidence. That is design. Like, promise you that. Design is the most obvious thing there is, man. It's so obvious that we're in a design. And like, to say that like, oh, one being designed it or multiple designed it, like, okay, I can see people debating that. But like, to say that we're not in a design, like, nah, man, we're in a design for sure. But no, you're cool. You're cool. Check out Marty Leeds. That's what I was just saying, man. You missed what I was saying. Flip flat. Is that what it says? Flip flat. It's a funny name, dude. No, that's exactly what I was saying. Marty Leeds. I was just saying that yeah, Marty Leeds is he turned me on to that. So I watched a bunch of his stuff until I felt like hanging around with negative people makes you a negative person. You know what I mean? So I had to kind of like step away from old Marty Leeds for a little bit. You know, I still sort of I was subscribed or whatever, and like I'll pop by from time to time, but you know. But yeah, he got a bit. He just he got a bit negative, and so I had to sort of walk away a little bit. But yeah, man, he came up with some really good stuff. You know, like it's hard to even like. I mean, that 13, 14, 15 thing is something. And I looked at all of his like, you know, his like the who did that, the whatever of man, has like a squaring the circle, and all that is really amazing. You know. He came up with a really interesting one, like how the Bible is like a poem. Basically, it was like iambic pentameter is like there's somewhere in the Bible that's like all the words like add up to the same amount of syllables. I think it's in Genesis. I'm warm. I'm warm. It's somewhere in there. But yeah, the numerology stuff is very, very interesting, you know. And yeah, Marty points out that layer of like Jesus is in you, like. Jesus is in you. He always says that shit. I'm a Christian because like Jesus is in you. It's like, yeah, well, that's just a layer. Like that's one of the layers, man. Like it still says in the Bible that you have to believe that Jesus came and sacrificed himself in the flesh. And it says that even in the King James Bible, old Marty Leeds, it still says that in there, man. And you're not saying that, you're saying that that's not true because there's all these patterns and numbers and gematria that tell all these things and like, you know, Jesus is 66645, like whatever. Like, it's like, yeah, but it still says that he came in the flesh, and you have to believe that. And so, like, the numbers and stuff in the Bible, that's one layer. Astrology, right? Another layer. Archetypes, another layer. Like, it's all the same story in just all these different ways, I guess. But yeah, if you guys, if you haven't picked up this old. It's huge, right? What a sick book, dude. The reason it's so, I mean, like, I'm just saying size-wise, it's like massive. I don't know if you can tell how big it is, but like, it's pretty large. It's a pretty large one. The reason it's so large is because the words are bigger, and I wear glasses. I needed a big lettered Bible. But if I may, in the beginning, what I was going to say is there's a chapter. If you haven't read this thing in a while, there's a really good chapter is Romans in the New Testament. And the New Testament has a lot of the good stuff. And Romans is a really good one. So if you haven't read that one in a while, recommend it. Well, I don't mean to keep going on here, you know, it's been like an hour or so, probably going to cut the stream. But you know, and have anything, you want to ask me, I know everything ever. So if you want to ask me something, got you. Now's your time to ask. Question, answer to the universe. That's an easy one. 42, right? No problem. 42, which is 13 plus 14 plus 15. I mean, all kudos to Marty Leeds. But 13 plus 14 plus 15 equals 42. 3.1415 is pi. I do know pi to a pretty good extent. 3.14159265397793238279533279502884197169. I could go on for a little bit. I know like that's only like 60 or 70 digits, but All right. Well, I'm gonna cut it. If there's anything, any like ask that I would have is that tell people like, man, I think we should all subscribe, bro, to like this to one channel. I don't even care if it's mine. I just made this one because it has to be on one channel where we all get together and say, all right, if when this channel hits this threshold of, I've said 100,000, so it makes sense. That's like a good place to be, as everyone's a little bit above 100,000. Seems like big channels. If this channel hits 100,000, it can be anywhere, right? Brand YouTube or BitChute or whatever. If it hits 100,000, then we go. Or like a GoFundMe or something, right? Like that's what Jaron should be doing. That's what somebody should be putting a GoFundMe together. Like when this GoFundMe hits $1 million in 10 years, right? Like real long-term strategy, man. When this GoFundMe hits $1 million, if and when, then we're taking a flight across Antarctica, until we get turned around. Like that's the path, dude. That's the only path that we can really, really do something, even if it is pointless or whatever, because the Bible is true, right? And everything. So it's like, whatever, nothing we do matters or whatever, but like trying to expose the liars, right? We're trying to prove flat earth here. That's the only way to do it, man. It'd be ballsy, but water, memory, and consciousness, I've seen the videos on it and stuff. Memory and consciousness, I mean, it definitely, I think the memory stuff, I just know that like, if you microwave water, it becomes all fragmented, and if you say hateful things towards water, it changes the shape of it, whereas if you say like you love it, then it becomes like a snowflake and stuff like that. Like there's stuff to it. There's definitely stuff to it, I don't think like consciousness, like, I don't know. I'm sure there's more to water than we're giving it. You know what I mean? Like that much. Yeah. You know what I mean? I could definitely say that. I grew up in Tahoe and it was awesome drinking really good water all the time. One thing, like, I'm not sure if everybody knows is that like, I tell people, this is one of like the fun things I tell people is that about distilled water is that the word distilled literally means like water that has not been stilled. So like when you have water by itself, it's just H2O, right? It's just H2O, a bunch of H2O molecules. When you add any other molecule to it, the H2O molecules clump to that, whatever else you put in there, thereby stilling the water. It's a clump now, and everything else is flowing. And then there's this clump of H2O molecules locked onto that one other molecule. And that is still water. When you distill water, you take other stuff out. So distilled water is literally the only water in the world ever that is just water. H2O. The only thing is distilled water. It's not to say like spring water isn't good for you because it has good molecules in it, right? It has good like minerals and stuff, but like anything you add, it makes it not water, not just water, and it stills it. You want distilled water that's free flowing, and it's conceptually, you're like, dude, give me some distilled water. But you could be right about conducting electricity. I believe you. No. I'm sure there's a lot to that too, electricity and electric currents and fuck. But anyway, well, Flip Flat, all right, funny name. Not an interesting concept. He's saying that, have you looked into primary water, which has never seen the light of day? The light of day. Primary water, I don't even, like water scooped from the depths of the ocean or something. I don't know how you find it, I guess, but I guess from a spring that hasn't sprung, right? That hasn't like come up from the bottom of the earth or something, or maybe from a well that you just covered or something. Interesting. I don't know anything about primary water. Sounds kind of fun. I don't know much about it. Here, you mentioned it. Tell me what it is as I look it up, and so we don't leave people hanging. Primary water. No sun, I guess. It's probably going to be a YouTube situation. Yeah, I can't find anything. But all right. Well, I'm gonna bounce. So you guys have a good night. I'll be back on sometimes. Waters from Below. There's one video of an old timer talking about it. It was pretty interesting. It sounds pretty interesting. Waters from Below. I guess the waters above and the waters below, or something. Yeah, sounds like a fun topic. All right. Like I said, I'm gonna go. For those of you not thinking that I did look into astronomy and astrology, I don't know why I said astronomy, but astrology. I got the book. All right, this is a cool one too. It is fun. You know what I mean? Like for girls love looking at this shit, man. Woo. Give them some Libra astronomy stuff. It was my birthday a couple days ago. I'm a Libra, but I did look into astrology stuff because, man, like there is a lot there. Like, I don't know, man. There's definitely some stuff there, but like I said, I think that's mostly just one of the layers. But all right, like I said, take it easy, you guys, and I'll do this again sometime. Still haven't come up with a good sign off yet, but oof, when I get one, man, I'm telling you, it's gonna be sick. But for now, I'm just gonna wave goodbye. So there you go. All right. It's a gift from my mom, and I didn't take it down when winter ended. So later. Oh yeah, primary water video posted below if you want to check that out. Cheers, and salute until later. Stay flat. All right, flat mat. I'm out of here. Have a good night, you guys. Appreciate everybody, and there's always good people out there, man. So just try to stay optimistic out there. All right. Have a good night. Later. End.